You have
Good
to
job.
stay. You're a full-time worker with us
that's
here.
right.
You want to
All
bring
right.
him in, the next guy in?
If you want, yeah. Another
Come on in, Andrew.
Big Ten
Andrew,
player with
come
a
on in.
huge
We've
game.
got this guest
Big day.
interviewer out
Stay
here.
right
I mean,
in,
this
stay
guy,
right in the middle there, Corliss.
this guy's
Get in the
taking
middle,
over.
buddy.
Go right to the middle. Go right to the middle. One of my favorite moments today, AJ, was, and granted, you don't like to see the football on the ground, but a fumble on a kickoff. Andrew Corliss comes out of there, and he's like, man, recovered that ball. He's like, I'm so fired up that you got that football. You guys, this game, you guys were on edge for this game. Did it feel that way for the entire 60 minutes?
Oh, I mean, player football, it's like that. It gets like that. You gotta have that intensity. You gotta have that attitude. That's kind of why I came out of that fumble like that. The fumbles get dirty too in them piles. So, yeah, I had to get out of there. But definitely, player football, definitely turn it up.
AJ has interviewed some defensive guys for us on this post-game show this season. Now you get an offensive guy, AJ. You get to fire.
See, that's the thing about
Big Ten football.
Exactly, like I said. So what you're explaining there just made me think of, it brought me back to the good old days back when I was at Ohio State. Corliss is a Penn State guy, so Big Ten, he has that toughness, and he's in there, and trust me, nobody but Corliss knows what was happening underneath that pile. And there's probably 22 guys going after it, and only one man came up with it, and it was this guy. So you got to give a guy like that some credit. That was a huge play when you look back at the game.
You guys actually go against each other a little bit in different mutations in practice. How helpful is practice between a good offense and a good defense when you guys all kind of know each other? You've been doing a lot of this stuff against each other for a long time. How about you from the defensive standpoint, and then you from the offensive standpoint?
Well, for us as a defense, to face this offense is huge for us. I came in, played 2 years with Brett Favre, and then Aaron steps in, and I say all the time, Aaron's the best player on the planet right now. And to go against that every single week is just, you can't put a value on that. And you see how many weapons we have on this offense. For us, honestly, it's so tough for us to stop them in practice. You got a guy like Corliss, who, if I'm not mistaken, I think he was the first touchdown of the game, right, that you scored tonight? Yeah. So he set the tone for us. And so when you get to go against guys like that every day in practice and all through July and August for training camp, you cannot put a value on it. It's huge.
What about these guys defensively challenging you guys during the week?
No, definitely. I mean, these guys they tough. They definitely tough. I think sometimes what I like so much. Sometimes they give us such great looks. The game is actually a little easier. Sometimes you get on the field and the people are not as good as our defense. So I definitely think it makes us better all the time.
All right, Andrew Corliss, a touchdown. Richard Rodgers, a touchdown. You kind of a bailout guy a couple of times for Aaron Rodgers today. Tom Pippins on our pregame show was talking about he thought the tight end position might be a key today, and you guys really stepped forward with it. How satisfying is that in your group?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, A-Rod, we knew we had to protect him, man. We knew we had to help him. In my head, I got a time clock, so sometimes if I don't see the ball thrown, I know I got to look for him to, try to bail him out and help him. And I think I was able to do that a few times today, and really help, move the chains and things like that. So it's something I'm happy to do.
Is your time clock any different knowing he's not as mobile as he, was earlier in the season?
No, definitely. The time clock stays the same. A lot of times, most plays in the average play in the NFL is 4 seconds, I guess. Anytime I feel like I said, it goes off in my head, clicks. All right, look for the ball now, try to get open and find voids, and that's what we was able to do today.
You have to celebrate this one a little bit, but then kind of put it away and start getting ready for another game coming up on Sunday. How does this offense with Aaron, not maybe still being 100%, get it together to go in the NFC Championship game?
I mean, it's definitely going to be a huge week in practice. I think only with time too, he's going to get better. That calf's going to start feeling better. I think he started to look a little more mobile, as the game went on. Anytime you have a muscle injury, more warms up, I think you're able to move around more. So he looked pretty good, towards the end of the game, and how he handled things. But it's definitely a huge week.
We know you're doing a lot in the community too, the Feeding America project going on. So congratulations on that. Nice to see your involvement there.
Yeah, no, I'm trying. I'm trying to get out there a little more. I was a little more, to myself, in my earlier years, and I'm really trying to get out there and touch as many people as I can.
Outstanding. Thank you. Appreciate you joining us. All right.
Thank you.
Terrific.
Thanks, big guy.
Yeah, look at that shiny black jacket. He's stepping on out.